is how we keep our chickens and our ducks protected from the fox without a 6-foot high fence that's buried beneath the ground. When we first got our chickens and we were looking into how to protect our flock, a lot of what we read was saying that we would need a 6-foot high fence that was buried beneath the ground, but we didn't like this for a couple of reasons. It sounded expensive and it also sounded a little bit ugly, to be honest. So we did some more reading and we eventually settled on a 4-foot high fence that had electric wire going around it. To put this system in place, we erected a 4-foot high fence that had chicken mesh around it, and then we put an electric strand of wire going around the bottom of the fence, and this was suspended on long arm insulators, and then we did the same on the top, cranked at 45 degrees. This electric is connected to an energizer that's connected to our mains, and we check that it's working by using a voltage checker, and we do this every time we go in and out of the area. To make it look better and also to help wildlife, we've planted a mixed native hedge around the fence, and we keep this trimmed below the level of the top wire, and then we just check underneath the hedging every now and then to check for weeds and for leaves that are touching the electric fence to make sure that it's not going to short out. To get through the gates easily, we've added an electric spring gate system. We've had this system in place for about 2 years and we haven't lost any chickens or ducks to a fox. I've even seen a fox wandering around on the land, and we know that we've had neighbours who have lost chickens as well to a fox, so we're pretty sure it's effective, but I can't 100% guarantee because it might depend on how tenacious the foxes are in your area.
I've been getting loads of gardening done on my lunch break recently, so come with me and I'll show you how I'm getting the most out of my gardening power hour. I always keep a running list of all the jobs that I want to get done in the garden so that when I do have time to get out in the garden, I know exactly what I want to do. Before my power hour, I'll make a quick list of everything that I want to get done in that hour in order of priority in case I run out of time. I've also sectioned the garden off in my head so that I don't get distracted by other jobs that need doing in the garden. These are the jobs that I'm doing in my power hour. I'm cutting back and tying in my tomatoes, and I'm also pinching out any side shoots to prevent them from getting too bushy. I'm then weeding my paths. I'm using a hoe for this job because it's so much quicker than hand weeding. You literally just scrape the weeds off the surface and then I'm raking it back over to keep it looking nice and hand weeding any last weeds that I didn't get. I'm also hoeing my vegetable beds. Again, really recommend a hoe. It is such a time saver. You just scrape the weeds off the surface of the soil, and on a hot, dry day, you can leave them on the surface to dry out. We are big fans of self-seeding flowers here, but occasionally you do have to strategically weed some out if they've finished flowering and start to look ugly, or if they're taking over the vegetable beds, and they'll go on the compost heap. Finally, I'm cutting back some chives that needed deadheading, and time's up. But before I go back to work, I'm putting all my tools away so I know exactly where to find everything, so that when I come to gardening next, everything is super efficient.